Shalom, and welcome to Light of the Hill Ministries. And in today's teaching, we will continue on in our study of Genesis. If you want to follow along, I will be posting this in the comment box below. And now, under the teaching. For this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed. Genesis 2. Verses 24 through 25. The Hebrew word that is translated as cleave comes from the root word tabak, Strong's number H1692, which means to cling, cleave, keep close, closely pursued, fasten its grip, joined, remained steadfast. The word for cleave in this verse in the Greek is proskaleo, from G4314 and G2853. To glue to, that is figuratively, to adhere, to join fast together, to cement together, to be joined in the closest union possible, to be bound together, to be so totally united together that they become one. Therefore, to cleave means a spiritual union. It is a union higher and stronger than the union of parent and child. It is a union that means more than living together, more than bearing offspring. Animals do this. This union is one that Yahweh has put together, not man, so that they were no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what Elohim has joined together, let man not separate. Matthew 19, verse 16. It is a spiritual union that places man above the physical plane of animals. It is a spiritual fullness, a spiritual sharing of life together, a dedication, a consecration, a completeness, a satisfaction that makes a person the exclusive possession of Yahweh and the spouse. As said, such a cleaving or spiritual union can only be made by Yahweh himself. Both husband and wife must be willing to subject themselves to Yahweh in order to bring about such a cleaving in their lives, as Paulo said or admonishes us. Subjecting yourself to each other in the fear of Elohim, Ephesians 5:21. There are three unions within a true covenantal relationship, whereas what most people call it marriage. That is, a covenantal relationship that really cleaves and is really joined together by Yahweh. One, there is a physical union. It is good for man not to touch a woman, but because of whoring, let each one hold his woman, and let each one hold her man. Let the husband render to his wife what is her due, and likewise also the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. And do not deprive one another, except with agreement for a time, to give yourself to fasting and prayer, and to come together again, so that Satan does not try you because of your lack of self-control. 1 Corinthians 7, verses 2 through 5. Then there is the mental union, the sharing of each other's life, dreams, hopes, and the working together to realize those dreams and hopes. Make my joy complete by being of the same mind, having the same love, one in being and of purpose. Philippians 2, verse 2. While this is talking about fellowship and humility as the body of Messiah, still this applies in a covenant relationship between man and woman. Mental unions takes having the same mind, love, being, and purpose towards one another, so that they might be one with Yahweh and His Son Yahushua, which leads us to the final union, and that is the spiritual one. The spiritual union is the sharing and molding of each other's spirit. Husbands, love your wives, as Messiah also loved the assembly and gave himself for it, in order to set it apart and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, in order to present it to himself a splendid assembly, and not having spot or wrinkle or any of the sort, but that it might be set apart and blameless. Ephesians 5, verses 25 through 27. Therefore, there has to be a sharing together with Yahweh for there to be a nourishing and nurturing of the Spirit. A man and a woman cannot experience abundant life of and by themselves. They can only nurture themselves together through Yahweh's Word. To be together spiritually, the couple must share in Yahweh's Word. When the couple shares Yahweh's Word together, day by day, Yahweh works His Spirit within their spirits, molding them into what He calls one flesh. They actually become as one person. This is what is meant by joined together. The Greek word for joined together in Matthew 19, verse 6 is syzanumi, Strong's number G4892, and the base of Strong's number G2201. To yoke together, that is, figuratively conjoin in marriage. It is Yahweh yoking. He is joining. He is binding the couple together into a spiritual union that becomes that causes them to become one person. When a couple who is spiritually united do two very practical things. One, that the couples are always subjecting themselves to each other in the fear of Yahweh. They submit, yield, surrender, sacrifice, and give themselves up to the other as they live day by day in the fear, trust of Yahweh. Day by day, they deliberately set out to nourish and love the other, even as Yahweh nourishes and loves them. They deliberately seek to surrender to each other and become one, no matter what the sacrifice required. The next thing the couple does is share in the presence of Yahweh. That is to say, have fellowship with Yahweh. As a result, Yahweh gives them a spiritual assurance and strength which they share together throughout life. They share the knowledge and confidence that Yahweh will care for and look after them. That Yahweh will carry them through the devastating trials of life that confront every human being. That Yahweh shall bless them with all that is necessary as they walk through life together. That Yahweh will give them abundant entrance into the everlasting kingdom forever and ever. And a man and a woman being spiritually united by Yahweh as one is what cleaving means. Cleaving to one another in Yahweh's Spirit is true covenant relationship. This is a gift of Yahweh. This is the very reason why I don't believe in divorce. And I'm very strict, as was Messiah was strict concerning it. And the only reason for it would be that of sexual immorality, as Yahushua said. And it has been said, whoever puts away his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that whoever puts away his wife, except for the matter of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a woman who has been put away commits adultery. Matthew 5, verses 31 through 32. And I say to you, whoever puts away his wife except on the ground of sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. And whoever marries her who has been put away commits adultery. Matthew 19, verses 9. The Greek word for sexual immorality is porneia. Strong's number G4202, and is translated by such expressions as fornication, whoring, sexual immorality, marital unfaithfulness, unchastity, and impurity. It has the idea of illicit sexual intercourse. A lot of people will put their own opinions as to why divorce is allowed other than illicit sexual intercourse, such as the spouse doing whatever they want or is abusive. I see these as grounds for separation, not divorce. These are completely different actions a believer should consider carefully. Any person who tells you divorce is allowed because of abuse is flat out wrong, and most likely injecting their own opinion into the text and making excuses for their own behavior. Get away from such a person and get help from an elder or a counselor who can walk you through what to do in an abusive situation. A covenantal relationship is a set-apart act, and no man should ever come in between it, not even the one who is involved in the covenant itself. Only Yahweh has the right to put people together or allow divorce. Clinging and cleaving is not just about a man and a woman, but it's also about guarding Yahweh's command. And it is in this way we cling and cleave unto Yahweh, and the truest expression of our fervent love for Him, and obey His Torah. And to do that, one must be awake, alert, and sober at all times, being fully ready and equipped to love. Romans 13, verse 10. Love does no evil to a neighbor. Therefore, love is completion of the Torah. Because Yahushua, Yahweh's Messiah, died and rose again, He has taken us as His bride, if we accept Him as Yahweh's Messiah. And Yahushua expects His bride to cling to Him and guard His command. And if we truly love Yahushua, then we will cling to Him. And if we're not clinging to Him, then our love is not real. Because love is supposed to be without hypocrisy. Romans 12, verse 9. Let love be without hypocrisy. Shrink from what is wicked. Cling to what is good. Clinging to Yahushua is not just about obedience, but it also involves sincerely seeking Him out, and a complete surrendering of your will to His. And if one tries to do things on their own ways, they can no longer cling to Yahweh, because Yahweh's face is against those who do evil, and in the end will cut off the remembrance from the earth. The face of Yahweh is against evildoers, to cut off the remembrance from the earth. Psalms 34, verse 16. We know that Adam and Hawa cling to Yahweh, and in the purity of their hearts, because they were naked and were not ashamed. It is in this Messiah that we can be once again restored to that state of being pure and unashamed, so long as we hold fast to the instructions of Yahweh. Romans 10, verse 11. Because the scripture says, whoever puts his trust in Him shall not be put to shame. But whoever doesn't put their trust in His words and instructions is ashamed of the son of Adam, and the son of Adam will be ashamed of him. Mark 8, verse 38. For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinning generation, of him the son of Adam also shall be ashamed when he comes in the splendor of his Father with the set-apart messengers. We would do well to pray like the psalmist prayed and ask in Psalms 31 verse 17, "Do not let me be ashamed, O Yahweh, for I have called upon you. Let the wrong be ashamed. Let them be silenced in the grave." The Hebrew word that is translated as naked is arumim, which is the plural of the root word arom, Strong's number H6174, which means naked, nakedness, which comes from the primitive root verb Strong's number H5783, which means to be exposed, bare, laid bare, uncover. And what we see here from the state of Abraham and Hawa, that this is not merely a reference to a physical nakedness, but also shows them innocent before a set-apart mighty one. And so not only were they physically naked before Yahweh, but also they were spiritually naked before him. But before they sinned, they themselves were not ashamed. And the Hebrew word for ashamed is bosh, Strong's number H954, which means be ashamed, act shamefully, disconcerted, disappointed. As long as we walk with Yahushua and do as he did, we will not stand ashamed, because it is he that covers us and cleanses us from all unrighteousness. We will allow his word to expose our sin, and we will remove it by his mercy and favor. And because we stand with Messiah, we leave this worldly ways and cling unto him who loves us. Those who walk in the stubbornness of their own ways and try to falsely abuse or accuse our good behavior shall stand ashamed before the Master one day. 1 Peter 3, verses 14 through 17. But even if you suffer for righteousness' sake, you are blessed. And do not fear their threats, neither be troubled. But set apart Yahweh your Elohim in your hearts, and always be ready to give an answer to everyone asking you a reason concerning the expectation that is in you, with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, so that when they speak against you as evildoers or doers of evil, those who falsely accuse your good behavior in Messiah shall be ashamed. For it is better, if it is the desire of Elohim, to suffer for doing good than for doing evil. In all of this, we need to leave the world and cleave to Yahweh. And if we suffer for doing good, so then he will not be ashamed of us, as we are not be ashamed of him. Hallelujah. If you like this teaching, please comment, like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification button to be notified of the next teaching. Yahweh bless, and shalom to your homes.